Today on the channel we are going to be reviewing The Great Race, The Phantom, issue number 1585. This comic book was first published by a few publications in 2010, and I've recently read a whole heap of stack of Phantom comics, and this was one of them. And this is The Great Race, and so let's start. Introduction panel. What? Doesn't that look similar to what we just saw? I love these old Phantom comics. They take panels and they put them into a cover. I'm going to read something that Jim Shepard wrote in the publisher's message, because this is pretty cool. Our news story in this issue carries a title familiar to Australians. The Great Race is of course borrowed from a name more commonly used to describe the country's premier V8 supercars race, the Bathurst 1000, at the world-famous Mount Panorama circuit at Bathurst, where it has become the pinnacle of motor racing competition after the tradition began at Victoria's Phillip Island track. And it's just on a side note, every year that it's on, it's one of the greatest things that a person in Australia can go to and can watch. Greatest things. That and the recent State of the Origin series. State of the Origin, that's pretty good as well, especially when the Wallabies win. And the Boxing Day test starts, and that's so damn good. But that's all on a side note, and we're now going to be starting this really great story called The Great Race. This story was wrote by Tony DePaul with art supplied by Cesar Spadari. And this was first published by Egmont in Scandinavia, number 23 in 2010. Now, at the same time that we're in 2010, and Tony DePaul is writing stories for Egmont, and at the same time he's writing stories for Egmont, he's also writing stories for the Daily Strip and the Sunday Strip. So Tony DePaul must have a fair bit of time up his sleeve to be writing stories for Egmont. I'm not too sure if he still is writing stories regularly for Egmont, or if the dailies and the Sundays are just so time consuming that he can't write anything for the Sweden audience. But yeah, I don't know for sure. But this story also sort of reminds me of when Melbourne, the city called Melbourne, is known for its coffee and its 4 seasons in one day, has really has the most famous race in horse race in the world, and it's called the Melbourne Cup. Now this race that's held in Melbourne could be similar to this, but this is on a whole level of extremes, because in this race we actually see that the Phantom they're held in this race called the Decennial Race, and it's one of Bengali's biggest races of the year. And so this Decennial Race goes from Morristown. It starts in Morristown pretty much, and it's like a cross-country type race. They're going in through the jungles, and throughout going into the jungles there's this one of the favorites to take out the race, and the Phantom and Kit and Heloise are also there watching the race, and they're having a bit of a picnic. Gureen's there, Devil's there, and they're watching this race, and they're actually hoping that the favorite wins. But with everything to do with races and people being greedy, there is a contingent of free people and they do not want this champion racehorse jockey type person to be winning this race. They want someone else to be winning it, and through that they go into corruption. They hire two assassins to take out this dude, and they try and finish him the first time round, but then they don't. And after that, the Phantom the Phantom takes over the reins, pretty much. The Phantom takes over the reins. That's such a great tagline, Brad. So the jockey who was on the horse initially is recovering from a shot to the head, and he's still breathing. The killers think that they've got him, and then the horse that is being ridden by the Phantom, he's trying to capture these would-be assassins, and then they go and they ring their other person that's connected to this race, who happens to be the person calling the race, the person that's the big honcho, the big person that's behind this race. He's the organizer, and he doesn't want the favorite to win. He doesn't want the people's champion to win. So he enlists in getting him taken out of the race for good. But that doesn't happen. There's a big phone debacle. He thinks that they've got him, but the signal is stationary. Sheik, what's happening? I took a spill, but I'm quite alright. I'm mounting up now. I'll be there in 2 days to collect the Decennial Cup. Gurran, you have to wake up the Sheik right now. Dad just said. Ha, Dad's going to finish the race for him, silly. Ha, little brother. Hey, I'm a minute older than her, aren't I, Dad? One of you is a minute older. Let me think. Ha. That man who called from race headquarters, he knew that trouble had befallen the Sheik. I could hear it in his voice. Is that a fact? The killers will try again, big friend. I'm counting on it. The killers tried 2 more times, and they are still unsuccessful. And what happens is that the Phantom, he finishes the race in epic fashion. Then the Sheik is also well enough to come and collect the cup, but then the Phantom also looks like the Sheik. So there's no way of telling that the Sheik isn't hurt. So there's a bit of confusion, and I'm going to read this little part here. The Confederate sympathizer who assassinated President Abraham Lincoln. As far as the world knows, the Phantom and I are the same man, trying to see justice done. Next morning, he has to come down this river. If these GPS numbers are correct, they had better be, or Bodley gets it. If I miss him again, which I won't, he has just one place to run, down that trail to the right. That while we strung across the road will finish him instantly. And you'd think that, wouldn't you? You would think that. No one will make that for a political assassination. No one will make that. No one will mistake that for a political assassination. It'll be the work of the merciless bandits. Bandits are known to be sneaky. Haha. Man, your weapon, I can see him. I'm coming into the open country here. Must be extra cautious. Wah, fella. Get a drink, boy. I have a feeling we might be running for our lives soon. If you're going to set up a sniper perch, this is the place to do it. He's barely within range. I can't be certain of a kill at this distance. He's mounting up. Let him get closer. If they're out there, I'm outgunned. A pistols against a rifle. He has 2 pistols. So what? Take a shot. Blam. Whoa. Nelly, that was close. Zing. I can't hit them accurately from here. Get him. Only one escape. Down that road to my left. When they follow, I will surprise them. They follow. They find a horse that is abandoned. So they think. The wire got him. Make sure this time. Don't be ridiculous. I'm sure he's headless horseman. Hell sure. Whack. They are surprised. The Phantom gets away. You can't be alive. You'd be surprised how often I hear that. You stay away from me. The man who cannot die is about to finish you, mate, and you're going for a nice kept sleep. Smock. Quick call to the Jungle Patrol, then I better get back into the race. Next day in the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen, the top finishers have rounded the final corner. And here comes one final challenger for the Decennial Cup of Bengali. I mean, it's the great horseman, Sheikh Syed Al-Bahar. Of course it is. The Sheikh has unleashed his prized mount in the final straightaway to the national racetrack. I need all your heart now, fella. And he goes on to win the Decennial Cup. Later, the cup is yours, Sheikh Al-Bahar. Good show. You are putting on a terrible one, Mr. Bodley. There's a uniformed fellow here to see you, Colonel Werribee. Jungle Patrol, let's speak privately, sir. And eventually that Mr. Birdley is in prison. Next day, back in the jungle. Guran, look here, look there. Someone coming. Dad, you won the cup? No, our friend the Sheik won it. Or would have if murder had not stalked him. Come back and defend the cup in 10 years, friend. We'll all be watching. I shall, many thanks. The end. Now, I just feel like if he was to come back, if the Sheikh was to come back and try and become back-to-back winners, back-to-back horse winner in this race, there could be another story to this. And I feel like if those same people that tried to take him out in this story were let out of the prison, out of the place that they've been in for the last 10 years, I feel like there could be a story here where they come out of prison, they know that the Sheikh is coming to reclaim his cup, and they want to take revenge on the Sheikh. And somehow they nearly... I have a feeling that if that was to happen, they nearly get him, but then the Phantom's there to take over, and then the Sheikh somehow survives. I feel like there could be a story there. Next issue, new story, The Whispering Statue. 12th of November, 2010. We saw that in a panel. Great colour work. Airbrush. Windows. I would like to thank you for watching this review of this really, really great story. I had a really, really great time reading this. It was a really, really good story. It was very predictable in a such where this story was headed and how it was going to be and all that sort of stuff. But anyways, thank you for watching. And as always, there will be more reviews like this coming soon to the channel. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, stay safe, and you'll see me next time on the YouTube channel at Phantom Cave Reviews.